Could it be possible to reverse the aging process without spending thousands of dollars? The answer is yes. Yes, it can. How would you like to look younger without costly surgeries and feel youthful again? Are you or someone you love struggling with loss of energy, memory loss, food sensitivities, stress? Or do you work out and would like to speed up recovery time after workouts or injury and improve overall performance? Now, I want you to remember this date. Now, I hope you're sitting down right now because what you're about to learn is the most significant scientific breakthrough in the history of man. Bigger than landing on the moon, bigger than anything you've ever seen or heard of. Curious of what that might be? Then keep watching and listening. This might seem hard to believe, but we as humans do not actually age. Our cells do. Our body's health is dependent on our cells' health. Everyone ages, and there is no pill or powder that could change that fact. But how we age is completely in our control. Inside, you will learn about the aging process, what is actually happening in our cells, what accelerates the aging process, telomeres, what are they, and how this scientific breakthrough would help you live long and live healthy. So what if you could increase your energy, vitality, memory, speed recovery, and improve overall well-being by 30% without costly surgeries and without spending thousands of dollars? I know it may sound far-fetched, but there are thousands who are experiencing massive benefits. How do I know? Because I'm one of the many thousands that have experienced these benefits and the results were rapid and painless. So, what if? How would this affect your life? Now, I totally get it if you think you've heard it and tried it all, but could it possibly be that you've never heard or seen anything like this before? Today, I'm here to tell you about the most important health breakthrough that will rejuvenate and revitalize your body on a cellular level. At this point, you're probably curious about what I have discovered. But before we get into that, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Terry Fierce from Biloxi in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I thought it was pretty healthy, and where I grew up in was not really healthy at all. I was always curious about the fountain of youth growing up, aren't we all? I have been promoting dietary supplements before, but unfortunately they were not organic or natural. It was mostly artificial ingredients. Then, a current partner of mine had introduced me to this telomere support system. He gave me an inside look of how it is done that most people will probably never see. I was shocked and amazed at even her results. Then, after being introduced to this scientific breakthrough that appeared to be the missing link to my personal health, the synergy of this product is all natural, safe, and effective. At first, I was kind of skeptical and thought, could this really be any different than any other products that I've tried and researched? Could it even be the key to solving the aging problem? But I was hopeful to have lasting results. I wondered if cost was going to be an issue because a lot of these all-natural health products have a hefty price tag, but to my surprise, this product costs significantly less than most out there that are less effective and safe. And with a 30-day money-back guarantee, I really had nothing to lose. Since I started using this product, I have overcome my own health obstacles, and I have more energy. I even look 10 years younger. Heck, even my friends are even shocked at how I look back when I was in high school. So enough about me. Let's talk about why you are here and what I discovered can literally change your life and your loved ones as well. First, let's talk about the human cell. The human body is made up of over 60 trillion cells. When you are born, your body is supposed to be starting point perfect. However, studies have shown that newborns already have over 200 toxic chemicals in their bloodstream. So the aging process and cellular damage has already begun. Cells are made up of many atoms, and in the middle there is called the nucleus, and in the little X's right there are the chromosomes. Within the chromosomes there's something important in there called the DNA. That's our genetic gene code, or the expression of the cell physically. So these sit in the middle of every cell and they generate an expression. At the end of the chromosome, the red tip right here, are the telomeres. Telomeres are the protective caps at the end of our chromosomes. They protect our DNA from damage. And we now have learned and discovered that as cells divide and replicate new DNA, the ends of these chromosomes are wearing away, which are the telomeres. And that's not a good thing because that's like the cap that holds all of this together. So as it shortens, it's actually damaging expressions of the DNA. And they've now linked every symptom associated with aging and all the degenerative issues that we go through that affects the quality of our health. So as the telomeres get shorter and shorter, we experience more and more of the severe issues associated with aging. Now that's called basal cell telomere shortening. That happens through normal biological processes, but it doesn't have to be that way, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. Lifestyle and environment can accelerate the shortening of telomeres. We've gotten to a place in our society where we are putting things in our body that is damaging it. Not only are we lacking the nutrition, but I'm talking now about things that are poison to the body and can cause free radical damages like parabens, smoking. One cigarette generates approximately 1 quadrillion free radicals. Oxidative stress, pollution, pesticides, medication, food additives, x-rays, chlorine in the water, mercury in the teeth fillings, and seafood. Exercise. Yes, exercise. When you work out, you release toxins into the body that can cause free radical damage. And that's just naming a few. Free radicals alter or destroy cells, and cells that replicate in the damaged state are the cause and contribute to premature aging, sicknesses, and diseases such as cancer, heart disease, and many others. In the last decade or two, scientists have learned more about telomeres. There are two types of telomeres, basal and accelerated. So it's like we're shortening the candle from both ends, and we've sped up the degenerative symptoms that are associated with aging and disease. In fact, the USA Today on April 24, 2012 wrote an article on how violence ages children's DNA, shortens their chromosomes. Their telomeres were shortened over and above basal by 10 years. So they have premature 10 years faster, which means they're going to develop degenerative symptoms faster of aging and disease. And that is not a good thing. Now, when we're conceived, the telomeres are at 15,000 bases long. In the womb, our cells are dividing, which means that telomeres are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And by the time we're born, we've lost 5,000 bases. So again, when we're born, we have 10,000 bases left, and as we continue to mature, 10,000 bases get shorter and shorter, damaging the DNA. When it gets to a certain point, that is when we start to see these degenerative symptoms associated with aging, until eventually the cell shuts down and dies, and that's basically when we die, right around 5,000 bases. Let's use the analogy of a shoestring and the plastic tip on the end of this shoestring. Let's pretend that is the telomere. When we hit 5,000 bases, it is like losing that plastic tip at the end of the shoestring. It starts to fray and eventually fall apart. That is essentially what happens to our DNA inside. A geneticist by the name of Bill Andrews discovered in his quest to find a cure for the aging process. This discovery was within the chromosome itself. It is called the telomerase gene. Human telomerase. Now, let's talk about the human telomerase gene, which Bill led a research team to discover in 1994. What's the role of the human telomerase gene? To stop that telomere from shortening, from preventing it from even happening in the first place. And he discovered it doing so in the reproductive cells, the extra sperm and egg cell. As we get older and older, telomere and gene expression stays the same in our reproductive cells. And that was a big discovery. Up to that point, it hadn't been identified, and Bill was the one that was able to identify and prove that. And then, knowing that was the resolve to the symptoms associated with aging, he then tried to activate the gene so it worked more effectively in the rest of our cells. In 1997, working with human skin cells, he was able to activate that gene in the human skin cell. That was a very profound thing to have to take place. It was so profound that Harvard got involved, and the Dr. Ron DeFino got involved with Bill's methodology, and he implemented it in mice. And that's where everything got really exciting and very interesting, and the research really took a turbo boost forward. That was less than 100 articles written on telomeres at this point, worldwide. So what did Harvard do with the mice? They activated the same gene in the mice. They took these old mice, activated the gene, and all the symptoms associated with aging were reversed. They saw things like their hair grew back, their skin got soft and smooth, their activity level was restored to that of a young mouse. They started running and bouncing around again. Even their mental cognitive ability was restored. They had lost 25% of their mental capacity. Glucose levels leveled out, and bone density was also restored as well. Dr. Ronald DeFino said it was an amazing observation and what it looked like the reversal of the aging process. So then Bill in his lab turns his attention to try to find compounds that you and I could consume that would activate this gene in us humans, because that's the whole point, is to have it happen to us, right? Bill Andrews and his team couldn't get natural ingredients to work, so they turned to synthetic chemicals. And after testing over 340,000 compounds, all were too toxic for human consumption. They spent well over $30 million just for testing. They had to invent the equipment to do all of this. In fact, they have some of the only equipment in the world that allows to test for telomerase and to watch it. After Bill Andrews thought they exhausted the natural world, in 2009 he was introduced to world-renowned master formulator John Anderson, who was formulated for over 600 plus companies during his career and has formulated nearly 2,500 different nutritional products and has always worked with natural ingredients. He has studied and traveled around the world learning about herbs, roots, extracts, and what other cultures were using holistically. From all the experience he gained while working with all the companies, he came up with a proprietary, unique way of formulating with extractions and enzymatic processes. In less than 100 attempts, remember they tried over 340,000 compounds and tens of thousands of natural ingredients. In less than 100 attempts, John was able to come up with 12 hits from all natural ingredients. Go, Mother Nature. Together, they created an exclusive patented formula for cellular repair and telomere support. This scientific breakthrough was launched in 2011, and we have the first generation where science meets wellness, of what John Anderson calls a new generation of nutrition, where the results will make fiction become reality. Since this scientific breakthrough product was released in 2011, Bill and John continued to collaborate, and John found more natural ingredients and vital nutrients within plants that has never been found or known of that was added to this product. And in August 2014, the fourth generation was launched. This is a game changer. From the first generation, they were already seeing incredible results. Now this vital nutrient increased catalase in the body by 30%. What is catalase? Catalase is an enzyme in the human body that is produced naturally to help neutralize free radicals, oxidative stress, parabens, and toxins that get into our bodies. Catalase decreases as we get older. I know. Y'all want to do it? I have to do it. Come on. In a study done at the University of Washington State, go Cougars, catalase has been shown to increase longevity in experimental research models by decreasing accelerated telomere shortening. The catalase help prevent free radical damage. So here's the actual words from that study that was done by Washington State University. In quote, mice engineered to produce high levels of the antioxidant catalase live significantly longer than their wild type counterparts, about 20%, unquote. In the article, they said in equating that to humans, that would add up to 24 years to the lifespan of a human, unquote. The results lend support of the free radical theory of aging, unquote. They were able to identify that through this study and see that there was a direct correlation. Now remember again, catalase decreases as we get older, and that's why we see this compounding effect of symptoms associated with aging. And quote again, this validation has long been awaited. It is the most direct testable proof of the free radical theory, and unquote. So they were able to see it, document it, and write a complete report on it. Guys, this is a big deal, especially for age-related problems, including and not limited to DNA damage, cancer, and diseases like Alzheimer's due to the lack of catalase. And then they tested the fourth generation catalase in vivo. Remember what we said about in vivo? In humans, in this double-blind clinical study, scientists were surprised by the findings. They double and triple checked the data. So here's what they found with this fourth generation in vivo clinical study. It showed an increase of over 30% in catalase production in humans in vivo. Again, in vivo means within the living, testing a placebo on a living subject. 20% more active ingredients in this fourth generation. It also has proprietary process of being more absorbable. It has been now proven to support both liver, kidney, brain health, cell integrity, and healthy circulation, which was also shown through the clinical data. This scientific breakthrough is the most potent all-natural telomere support and antioxidant product on the planet. It's packed with ingredients like turmeric root, flaxseed oil, L-glutathione, milk thistle, pomegranate, ashwagandha root, and the list goes on. The synergy of these ingredients helps support your telomeres from shortening, which is important for reversing the signs of aging. And it is water soluble, which means it gets through the cell walls and is easier to absorb, friendlier to the body, and easier to utilize. Plus, it has a unique delivery system. The nutrients that are synergized together help in digestion and include a transport system of enzymes. Backed by Nobel Prize winning science, plus the integrity of this no compromise formula, and it is made in America, is why I chose this manufacturer in the first place. Because most supposed natural companies cut corners, adding a few synthetic fillers plus artificial ingredients, because it is just plain easier and cheaper. And that's an insult to your intelligence. Plus, American-made supplements are highly regulated, unlike countless supplements found on the internet. So be careful where you're ordering your supplements from. Some have been tested, and the tests did not find half of the ingredients that were listed in the product. And the best thing, this breakthrough has zero risk. It is backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, and it is affordable. By the way, folks, if your car began to make noises and suddenly the check engine light came on, how long would you wait to have it diagnosed? Would you wait a week, a month, or even a whole year before you decide that those funny sounds might actually be leading to a larger problem? Maybe you think that ignoring it would allow you to dodge the huge inconvenience of having to spend the time and money to fix the problem. Can you relate to this? I know I can. Think about this. Our bodies are really no different. We were designed with the same built-in warning system. The ability to know deep down inside that our check engine light is on and even blinking. And this blinking red light means what? Well, just like having your car in the shop. If you have to be hospitalized from age-related symptoms, illnesses, and dis-ease, it is possible that this could mean thousands of dollars, lost time with precious family, lost wages, pain, suffering, and more money spent on hospital bills, expensive prescriptions, and pain medications, and worst of all, a reduced length and quality of life. Now, I know you have an interest in avoiding this altogether and giving your body the best chance to prevent this from happening. How? Because you are still watching and listening. No matter what the issue is, I want you to take a moment and consider the amount of energy you're wasting every moment you're not doing something to take proper care of your body to support the health of your telomeres. What would it be worth to you to know that you could improve your health now, reverse the signs of aging, and live a longer, healthier life for you and your family? Imagine for a moment that this breakthrough helps you feel and look more youthful. How would your life change as a result? Imagine you have more energy left over at the end of the day to give to those you love. What would that look like? You can have this product delivered to your door straight from the manufacturer, saving you time at a wholesale price, so you will pay for less than you would in a retail store, while you rest assured that you are getting 100% all natural nutrients for the cells. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. What I want you to do right now is go ahead and take the next step by clicking the link below. Experience this breakthrough for yourself. Get started on this fourth generation that's now available. And again, before closing, because it's a natural supplement, I must say disclaimer one more time that this product that you just heard about is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any illnesses or diseases. And the product that you just heard and the statements have not been evaluated by the FDA.